All right. All right. Welcome to the Generation Gaming channel. I'm Jay Lewis at your service once again. Thank you so much for joining us on your Generation Gaming's YouTube channel. Join my far side. This is simply the future of the WWE 2K series. It's kind of a mix of a review of 2K19 and kind of what myself and Farside feel the future of the game is going. I haven't played 2K19 for about a year. I played like 3 hours of it finally. That's not enough to give it my own personal opinion, but I know Farside's played a lot of it. First of all, how's it going, man?
I'm good.
Yeah, man. Thanks for joining. Turn this up. See how it sounds. Sorry, 1 second. Sure. Turn that up a lot more. All right, there we go. All right, first off, we're going to talk about a lot of the new stuff, obviously, that they added. Some of the stuff that's still there. One of the things that I didn't mess with at all, I think I messed around with a little bit of the creative stuff, and I messed around with the like exhibition stuff like that. I didn't really kind of just dabbled in each of the modes, kind of all that was. What is one thing I didn't read much about, and I wanted to ask you, have you messed with, what is this win $1 million? Like, is it a tournament? Is it a challenge? What is that exactly?
Yeah, it's exactly like the Mortal Kombat tower system. And when you face like the whole time, your health won't regenerate or whatever. So like each match, you'll start with the same amount of health you had at the last match.
Oh, wow.
At the end of the last match. So like, yeah, I mean, some of them are easy, some of them are hard. Like I think that AJ Styles one is like the last match you'll fight like a gold version of AJ Styles. And you have to do it all on like legendary.
Okay.
And there's certain stipulations to each match.
Because I saw that. I saw a picture of him like gold, and I thought that was like, well, maybe that's like a collector's edition thing or something. But okay. So it's supposed to get hard. Each kind of like a that's not the tower modes, is it? Because that's like it reminds me kind of like Mortal Kombat, where it gets harder each time. Okay,
it's exactly what it is.
Okay.
That's why I said like it'll be like the first match will be nothing, and then the next match will be like, oh, you need to beat this match within like 3 minutes, or the next match will be like a submission only match, stuff like that.
Okay, because going into the towers modes, there's supposed to be like 2 of them. It's a My Player Towers and the WWE Towers. And is one of those for the 1 million, or is that those are 2 separate things I mentioned?
So the 1 million one, that's the AJ Styles one. Like,
okay.
The thing was you had to beat that within like one sitting, and that's how you get the 1 million or whatever.
Right.
I don't think anyone
has done it.
I think they did announce that somebody did do it.
Yeah.
But like a lot of people did end up beating it, but not within one sitting, like one go.
I see.
Like you couldn't fail and then try it again. Like,
I see.
You don't win it that way.
Huh. Oh, so you had to like if you like mess it up the first time, you can't win it. I guess after that.
You're instantly disqualified from the $1 million. I guess.
Huh. Okay. Have you tried it?
I tried it. I was annoyed by it. I've said it before in like the previous thing we did. I don't play that way. So
right.
The whole idea of just like constantly going at the computer it's not enjoyable to me.
Right.
I mean, I tried a few of the other ones, but yeah.
Okay.
That's stuff that interests me.
I was wondering. I mean, I didn't, and it's my own fault for not looking too much into that. But I was wondering how much they giving away $1 million, like and it couldn't have been very easy. I imagine, obviously. But I was just wondering about that. All right, some new stuff. So I know how you are in the past with some of these other things like universe mode and micro mode. One of the new things was they brought back showcase mode with the career of Daniel Bryan, because that's the first showcase since 2K17, if you want to count the Hall of Fame showcase. I guess the DLC one. Did you play any at all? Do you like the showcase mode at all, or have you ever liked it?
I've never never liked Showcase mode. I
Right.
don't.
I guess that goes along with.
Like I guess yeah, it's like the only reason people do it is to unlock stuff. But
Right.
what do I need to go relive someone's career for?
Yeah, I guess some people
Like,
actually liking that.
some people like it, some people don't. I don't. It doesn't do anything for me.
Right.
Like,
I guess that goes along with what you were saying about the computer, what you were just talking about and playing against computer. I guess. Yeah, I can understand that. Let's see.
yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, because I know like in the past, like there were. I mean, I played Steve Austin's and it was okay. I didn't play the whole thing through. I kind of got bored of it, to be honest. Like I guess I wasn't a really big fan of. Okay, now you have to do the exact thing. You do this amount of this certain grapple or whatever. I didn't.
Annoys me. Why do I have to? Why do I like every time it tells you like, oh, you have to do this, this, and this,
Right.
and then all of a sudden I'll play a cutscene middle of the match where like all that will be wonderfully animated, but then you're back to the regular wrestling match where it's not going to be wonderfully animated.
Yeah.
It's just like, man, why? No, like we shouldn't even bother with this stuff anymore. Like. I just like unless it's gonna like the only reason I like that stuff is they put in new stuff for those people. That's about it. Like if you come out with this Ric Flair one and you're going back, you're only wrestling like Ricky Steamboat, Dusty Rhodes. So you haven't added anything to the game for those people. So I don't really care.
Right.
There's not many new moves or new things to do now because of that. Like you're reusing stuff that was already there. You just gave it a different costume. So why do I care?
No, I can understand
that. Like this one was good because it reanimated all of Daniel Bryan's stuff, and that's cool. I like that, but it didn't do anything for anybody else.
No, no, that's true. I kind of always looked at I guess it depends how you look at it, but I looked at Showcase mode as maybe like WWE's version of I hate to say story mode, but that's kind of what it is, or like a single player kind of aspect. That's how I always look at it.
Except like like story mode before,
right?
Because like there was multiple choices and everything. You're just stuck with going the exact same matches you've already seen, and you're forced to sit there and do exactly what happened in that match.
Yeah.
At least like when they did it in like Legends of WrestleMania or whatever, there was like the what if scenarios where it's like, okay, instead of Ultimate Warrior winning that match at WrestleMania 8 or whatever, Hulk Hogan won.
Yeah.
Like you could have done stuff like that and changed history that way. But here it's just like you're living exactly what happened. So like, what do I care? Like I know exactly what happened. I saw it all.
Yeah, no, I can kind of see that. I'm just curious because I mean I tried to get into it because the way they had it before. I think it's the game like WWE is always better when you let the customization, you let the player kind of create your own thing. That's why I always liked, and this goes along with universe mode, excuse me, and I wish they would bring this back as the general manager mode. I used to like that a lot. I played that for hours when that came out. And now I guess that's what, universe mode is now, even though it's not the same. But there's some things they brought back, like, what is it I wrote down here? I know you're not. I'm gonna go to my career mode here in a second. But the new match types. There's. I guess I'll read them out and you can give your thoughts on it in a second. There's 5-man, 6-man, and 8-man. Now they had like 8-man last year. They didn't have like 5-man or 6-man in certain situations. I guess it depends on the match. In 18 or 18 is what I'm thinking of. Most of them are kind of the same. Like you have normal 5-man, it's like normal, Extreme Rules, ladder, table, TLC, Hell in a Cell, and then Battle Royal. It's 6-man, same thing. Kind of most of it's the same thing. Some of it's a little different. Like 8-man, it's like 4-way tornado tag, ladder tag, and then ladder 4-way tag. A lot of that sounds like it would get really annoying, especially when it comes to like last year when they had the issue with like the 8-man tags and the ref wouldn't even count, or the game just felt like it was like going to break because there was just so much going on. Are any of those issues or new issues? Have you messed with any of that in the new version?
I did the triple threat tag team match was a 6-man.
Right.
I was just glad to have that back after so many years of it being gone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any issues, but I don't think that stuff's available online.
Okay.
So I think you can't do a triple threat tag team ladder match online. I don't think it lets you. So it's like you put that back in, and then you still don't let us do it.
Yeah.
So
no, I see what you're saying. Okay, what else is there? I know they added the Royal Rumble women's Royal Rumble. Let's see. They're supposed to. I guess there's the Cell, the Hell in a Cell, and the Steel Cage are both revamped. I guess the Cell is small or a little. Was it larger? I think it's larger than it was before.
Well, it's larger than it was, but they also increased the whole area, everything. So like there's a bigger area outside the ring within the cage that you can fight in.
Yeah.
And then the area outside the cage, you're finally able to walk around the whole cage. So like, and then they took away, they didn't take it away, but now there's no need to do like a OMG moment to get outside the cage. You can just constantly ram the person into the wall until the wall breaks, and then you're finally able to go outside. And then like the cage and the Hell in a Cell, it's like now you can climb to like partially halfway up.
Yeah.
And you can kind of like stand there and fight each other on the side of the cage or whatever, and then you climb all the way up.
Yeah, and I did read that. Yeah, like you can't just jettison yourself all the way to the top anymore like you could. And then I guess it's like what instead of the OGM or OMG moments, it's basically like normal moves, I guess, to break people through the cage now instead of
I mean, there's the one big OMG moment to like the Braun Strowman thing where he power slammed Big Show through the cage wall, and then your guy will just walk outside the cage. That's the big OMG thing there. That's about it.
Okay. Yes, I was wondering about that because my thing was I felt like I know this time you can walk around the entire cage because I guess it's a cell, it's a cage, so you're supposed to feel confined. But I kind of felt like as a gamer and when I was playing this game or in the past and and then when I played 19, I only did one Hell in a Cell match, but it felt not as bad as before because I felt the past like 2K WWE 2K games I felt really cramped when you would go outside, not the cell but like between the cell and the ring outside. I felt like there was no room to move or walk at all. This one was a little bit better. What do you think?
Like the thing was before, if it was like the stairs were there, you couldn't even go around the stairs. You go in the ring and then go out to the other area. So it's like now they've increased that whole area with inside the cell. The only problem I have is when you're inside or whatever, the moves that you do is randomly generated. So like you don't really have a choice when you're outside the ring in a Hell in a Cell. Like you just grapple the dude who either throw him in the ring or do some weird move against the cage. You don't really get to do a move of your own out there other than to like try and hard whip him through the cage wall.
Okay.
It's sort of annoying, but I guess it's all right with me.
Yeah.
Because it's not like they're typically doing moves in real WWE. Like they're usually just slamming them against the wall or doing some weird stuff against the cage. So it's all right, but I still like to be able to like pick a dude up in a powerbomb and try and hit him against the cage. Something like that.
No, I know what you mean. What was I going to say? There was a question here. Like I was kind of mentioning. Do you feel like? Do you kind of feel like you're cramped in this version, like the cell, or is it kind of like there's a little more room to work with? I guess kind of what you're saying.
No. The only thing is once the door is open, it's a little bit confusing to get out.
Okay.
That's because like you have to be in there's an actual spot that you have to press one of the top trigger buttons in order to step outside the cage. And like sometimes you'll be walking around the turnbuckle like 3 or 4 times before you're like, God damn it, where's the spot that I can go to get out of the cage? So it can be a little bit confusing to get out. But once you're out, like it's no big deal.
One of the big things I wanted to ask because I know it felt like 18, and I feel like this is not in WWE 2K is not the only game that has this issue. I feel like recently, like Fallout 76, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, and these are games that are annual games, and 2K falls under that category. Madden is another one. I feel like these games they're having a lot of issues when they're launched. Like they're not finished, and you can really tell that. And I know last year 18 had that issue. I didn't really see much. I mean, then again, I only played for like 3.5 hours. Do you feel like it's more polished than last year, or do you feel like it still has those issues of, well, this game is definitely not finished?
I don't. The only issues I found when the game first came out was the creative match feature or whatever. Some of the options were taken away.
Okay.
And then they obviously patched them back in. Such as like having a fatal 4-way battle royale match where you just pin each other and you have to eliminate each other. That was taken away.
Huh.
Like how are you taking it away? It was in last year. You take it away this year, but then they patched it back in like 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, that's really confusing because that the match that Blue always makes is the 6-man Iron Man Hell in a Cell match that we do. Like you couldn't make that at first. They didn't let you.
Huh.
So it was a little confusing. But I think like as far as gameplay and anything else goes, there was no issues.
That's good.
Like it was like taking away some options was really weird, but
I
think that's just something to do with them, the game. So
I mean, some developers will do that where they have to take something out in order to fix like a main portion of the game. So it's something small that they hope that you either won't notice and won't be a long-term issue. I noticed with now you haven't my career mode. You haven't. I assume you haven't played that. At all, really.
I don't screw with that at all.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Because that seems to be the same. I mean, I like what they did though. From what I've seen, like it's when I've watched, I like they kind of went into a big kind of. I don't want to say like a 360, but a way I didn't expect them to do what they did with the My Career mode. It feels like it's a lot more revamped. Let's see. What was I going to say? But because I could never really get into My Career mode either. I just felt like it was kind of too slow. And again, it kind of goes back to the showcase thing where I don't like them telling me to do these certain things. I just want to wrestle the damn match and let me wrestle. I feel like they should be able to have a story in there and then let me wrestle how I want it, like Universe, and there not be all these other restrictions on things. That's why I never really end up playing it because of that issue. But let's see.
Well, I don't like that when you start your career, it's like your guy doesn't know any moves, and that's confusing to me. Especially when this career mode starts you off in like the independent system.
Right.
So like, come on, it's like if I'm being like everyone else, and I'm like Seth Rollins, like Tyler Black coming from the independent system, and I do all these moves back there. Why should my character be hindered that way?
Yeah.
I don't understand it. Now, like I've said before, I believe the whole like the actual booking philosophy that your guy is brand new, that he can know all this stuff when he's brand new, so he has to lose to all the other people until you get your initial real push.
Right.
There's some things you need to put the realism in there, and then some things you need to take it out. But
right.
I'm not a fan of your character starting off with this generic moveset. I was like, well, if I was going to be a wrestler, I would start off with like this generic nonsense. Like,
yeah.
Especially if I came from the independent system where I know how to wrestle for at least a couple years before I ever get there. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
No, yeah, it doesn't. I was wondering that because I saw that and I was like, well, and I feel like like you said, you feel like you wouldn't be hired by a company like WWE if you had the most generic fucking setup possible. And I know it's a video game, but you're right. Some things I need to leave in there.
It's not like WWE is just picking these dudes out of like literally nowhere. Like, oh, this dude he's 18 years old and he just applied to us. Like, no, they don't pick them up like that.
Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah. It doesn't work like that.
Like the dude hasn't been trained at all. Like, come on. No. They don't do that.
No, they don't. Let's see. One of the new things I thought was kind of interesting, and I thought was I wonder how it worked. I wonder how it really made the gameplay much different, and that's the payback system. And I guess this is more of a defensive mechanic. I guess that I guess it's meant to turn the momentum, I guess, of a match and get you, I guess, back on track if you're not doing that well. Like, if I'm understanding that correctly, I guess, and then you take enough damage, I guess you unlock different levels of like abilities, level 1 and 2. And I guess the word what I'm trying to say, hold out long enough, I guess you'll earn more power I guess, and then to be able to get level 2 ability. Does the payback system kind of change like the gameplay of the match, or does it feel like it's really even needed, or is it just a cool new thing to have, or just not at all?
I believe there's certain ones that like ultimately don't really do anything for anybody. What was it, like Fists of Fury? Like, like, oh, you'll get a random bonus to like all your strikes. And then you pop back up and then try and strike the dude reverses every single one of them. So it's like, was that a useful payback? No, not really. I think like some of them are useful. I like the silly ones, like hitting the people with the brass knucks and the low blow and everything. That can be fun.
Right.
But like obviously the only ones that really help you is like to earn an instant finisher or the resiliency one and the kip up. Otherwise, like all those other ones, they don't really do anything.
Yeah.
That's useful. Because I just feel like if I use a payback and all of a sudden I'm still getting reversed after I just got this boost, like it's like it wasn't really useful payback, was it?
So it's mostly like there for show, I guess, essentially, or more than anything.
I assume like the idea was like stuff like the tank buff and like the Fist of Fury was like the idea that you'd still be able to like fight your way back.
Right.
Especially like tank buff is like you're supposed to be able to take a lot of damage before getting knocked down again, such as like being like Braun Strowman or something.
Right.
A big guy.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna get knocked down.
Exactly.
But like if he already has the unbreakable ability, he's not gonna get knocked down anyway. So what's the point of tank buff other than to like, I guess not get a lot of damage for like a couple of seconds. But
that's
just some of them is like some of them, they're super useful. Some of them they're just there.
That's the other thing I was thinking, and I'm glad you mentioned. It's like you have your character, created or not, the regular characters in the game have abilities. Do they like clash at all? Like I was going to say, like you just mentioned two things. Like there's a payback and the regular ability that do the same thing almost. So sometimes it seems like the payback system is almost obsolete if you already have something that does that. Does that run like head to head?
I guess, but it's like some of the stuff that were those became the payback abilities. So like the unbreakable ability, you can only have that as a super heavyweight.
Right.
So I mean, Braun Strowman and Big Show and all of them are gonna have the unbreakable ability anyway.
Yeah.
But like I guess they just give them the tank buff because it seems thematic for the character or the wrestler themselves, and not like an actual thing.
Okay.
So it just seems like all the bigger people have the tank buff.
Yeah.
Which is like,
I see that.
Like I don't see how it's useful. Like I said, the resiliency and the instant finisher and like maybe the instant reversal.
Yeah.
Those ones are like the more useful ones, and obviously like the kip up to just automatically get up and be able to attack instead of being down on the ground. Like those are like the obviously more useful ones over the other ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I see like here, like I have the list in front of me, like the level 1 stuff. Like I see the Fist of Fury temporarily increases striking speed and power. There's a speed buff, a reversal, instant recovery. And then go down to the level 2. I saw that the tank buff significantly increase your defensive abilities while reducing overall mobility. Now, it doesn't say anything about being, for a big guy, but I could see why you say that. But I do see the kind of
but like the thing is, if you go in and look at every wrestler in the roster, there's only a select few that have the tank buff, and they're not going to be cruiserweight guys.
No, they're not. No, that makes sense. No, they're not. Yeah, that makes sense. But I see like what you were talking about here, like getting disqualified. There's 3 things: low blow, perform a low blow, or from standing, or kneeling position, risk of disqualification. Poison mist, spit poison and mist to your opponent's face, risk disqualification. And then power punch. I guess that's the brass nut. Yeah, hit your opponent with brass knuckles. I guess that's like. I mean, I don't really see the benefit in that. I mean, I guess if you don't care about winning, or depending on what the situation is.
That's why, like, it's like that stuff seems like it's just like if you're online and you're just playing against your buddies and you pull out the poison mist for no reason at all. Yeah. It's just a funny moment. Is it going to win you the match?
Right.
Most likely not.
No. Yeah, I was gonna say no, it's not.
It's like that's why I say like that stuff seems thematic.
Yeah.
Instead of like useful. So like Yeah, like the low blow, that's obviously for Nakamura and
Yeah.
like Brian and Daniel Bryan now, but
Right.
like I don't see myself using that over like winning the match.
Mhm.
You know, like you're
Yeah.
gonna get disqualified if the referee sees it. So
Yeah.
usually people only do it when the referee is already knocked out. They'll do the low blow and then try and ping you afterwards. That's about it.
Yeah. Okay. Before we move on to, I'm gonna go into universe mode. Before I do that, I want to go. Where's that? It's in front of me. That is the Money in the Bank updates. I guess now you can choose, I guess, who is holding the Money in the Bank in exhibition and universe mode. In addition, there's a variety of cash sequences. I guess at your disposal, if you will. I was going to ask you, have you experienced like any of the caches, and are they any different from last year's, or are they the same thing? Or
There's just a few different cutscenes. Like,
okay.
Instead of like, because I think before it was always just the dude to run in, tell the referee to cash it. Like sometimes it can be like the dude will just tell him straight up like, "This is me cashing in now," and then the person will come out.
Yeah.
You know, it's just different ways for that person to cash in instead of just doing the simple run in. After it's like I think it was always that person would wrestle a match before you could ever cash it.
Okay.
And like now you can just be like cash it, and it can become like a triple threat match or something.
Huh. Okay. That's interesting. Yeah, because like I see how that could work in like universe mode, but like an exhibition match, is that something you guess you would have to do, like as you're setting the match up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, like I think you can put the Money in the Bank on the line in exhibition mode. I don't see why though. I don't see the point.
Yeah, I was gonna say like if it doesn't
I haven't really messed with the Money in the Bank that much. I know you can create like your own little Money in the Bank briefcases, whatever, in create mode.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Thought it was kind of cool, but I guess if an exhibition, if it doesn't correlate with your online, your universe, then it kind of seems pointless unless you're having that many people playing at your house or whatever. But
yeah, it's just why would you just put the title on the line then? Like, I don't see the point.
It's kind of that is kind of stupid. Yeah, exactly. It's almost like another version of a title that's not a title anyway, in a way.
That's basically how it's treated. Like, it's just a temporary title.
Yeah. All right. Move on to universe mode, and it's kind of the same premise at the core. One of the things I thought was a little interesting is the championship system. I guess is expanded. Allows you to have 6 championships per show. I guess compared to the previous 4. And then I guess a new championship division. I guess that determines which title specific groups of superstars will pursue, and I guess titles can also be vacated. Let's see. Money in the Bank briefcases are now fully customizable. They take a championship slot, which doesn't make sense, but it's not a title, but got it. Have you dived into universe mode a lot? I guess, or really you were more online?
A little bit, but not as much as Blue.
Yeah. Because I know he wasn't a big fan of it before. I know he's more of a My Career guy, at least in the past.
Well, he only uses the universe mode for his little stream or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And to me, universe mode is just like a weak Booker mode. Like, I'm not particularly a fan of it because it runs the whole like their booking philosophy right now. Just like, these two dudes are in a feud. They're just gonna wrestle every week,
right? Until
the pay-per-view, and then the feud is over. It's like,
yeah. I mean, I saw you can like pick the winners now ahead of time. I mean, that's a different thing, but yeah, it's not something that's really big though. There's nothing that seems like it's a huge different.
And like still like the little like cutscenes you get are still random. So like you could go months in universe mode without ever getting a cutscene.
I was gonna say,
to me, it's the same as it's always been. They just changed.
Yeah,
titles you can have and the matches you can use.
I remember I didn't even like when Universe was the first like thing originally. Like for me, a year or two after, and I played it. I didn't even realize there were any cutscenes. So I guess maybe the way I was playing it, why I wasn't getting any cutscenes, but. That just tells you the way you could just play it and not even get them at all. Like I think I got one cutscene one time because it was a rivalry, two people just stared at each other from the ring and the ramp. So it was like, and that was it. But this happened, the Undertaker or Les Strowman, like big guys, like big things will happen or something. Don't do a lot Lesnar in this situation. Something stupid like that. Some things people aren't going to really think about to do at all, or not even, but there's no indication of it at all, I guess, in the game. For you, there's an online mode. Is they have like a leveling system like they did before? I assume just before. I haven't seen much about that. I guess because you and Blue do that. Do you guys do that a lot? Like when you
we already do custom matches. So I don't screw around with the online thing. I have no desire to go fighting against people online who like to cheat and all that stuff or use.
Oh really?
Certain moves that have like such a small reversal window.
Wow. Nice.
Because they know. People can't reverse this move. Guess I'm putting that on. Like, the people figure out, like, yep, people can barely reverse this.
So, really, it's online based. Against others, daily to earn boost superstar parts in VC like before. You earn stars to gain access and pay-per-view. All right, so I'm not, and I kind of like it's going to sound contradicting yourself because I don't like doing like pay to win, not have pay to win. Like that Shadow of Mordor game had pay to win. Assassin's Creed in some ways has pay to win, and do that. Creed in some ways has pay to win. Assassin's Creed in some ways has pay to win. Those games should not have unlocked. Have you ever used it at all, or
the accelerator?
And
I'm not silly little.
Yeah, no, I can understand. I guess the different situations. I guess if you don't care enough for it, then I guess so. But I guess it all depends. I feel like they're trying to expand modes a little bit better than its predecessors. I mean,